songs up, barefoot tapping on the dash. We can take the back roads, no one else around. Hit my arm when I go too fast. It's a good morning. It's a good morning.
Hi everybody, so today we are going to be discussing a topic that is very controversial and some people have very strong opinions on it, but I feel like with their opinions they don't explain the whole situation. So let's deep dive into it. So we're going to be discussing using the reins to stop a horse, aka pulling on a horse to stop it. So when this topic comes up, a lot of people say absolutely you should never ever pull on your horse to stop them. But I think there are a few times it's absolutely acceptable, and I'm going to explain. So number one is definitely when a horse is having their first few rides and they don't know what stopping off their seat is. You can one rein stop them. So you can sit back, say whoa, some will respond, some won't, and you can one rein stop them. Now, some people still consider that yanking on a horse's mouth, and there's a big difference between yanking and pulling a horse to a stop. Personally, the reason number two I like to pull my horse or use my reins to stop is to get a good foundation, and I'll show some pictures here in a second of what I'm meaning. I'm just using some old clips that I have. So with Avalon, I will show some pictures. She gets very hollowed out. She likes to yank back with the slightest little bit of pressure. And with Kamani, I have taught her that when I sit back and pull back, she needs to soften at the pole, soften at the neck. She's a little behind the vertical in this picture. Now, I'm going to explain why I'm teaching this, why I'm picking up. Now, my hands are a little higher in this photo, but what I mean by this is what I'm wanting is when she does stop, I want her to automatically soften the pole and the neck and use her back muscles and back up. And what this is going to do is give me a better stop and a softer horse, and she's going to build muscle in her back and in her hind end, and it's going to give her more strength, and it's going to end up being a better stop to where I just use my seat in the long run. And right now, I'm just getting a foundation of what I'm asking. Now, with Avalon, she fights any little bit of pressure. So, we're going to work on that. In case of an emergency, a beginner or somebody being on her, and say they pull on her, I don't want her tossing her head and freaking out. Now, that stop was really, really good. Now, you can see what I was talking about there, how I stopped her and backed her up. That's what I was talking about with Kamani. But you see there, she goes way behind the vertical, and she is kind of choppy all over the place. That's going to keep her weak and not any muscle, which is why she is weak. Her neck is very weak. Her butt is very weak. She's choppy all over the place. And so this is why I think in this situation, this is okay, because we have to teach the foundation and build up muscle. Reason number three, again, beginners. My boyfriend would love to learn to ride, and he really wants to ride Avi. Now, he's been on a horse once, and so before he develops a seat, he's got really bad arthritis in his knees. It's going to take him a long time to develop a seat. So the first little while, he's going to use the reins to ask her to stop until he figures out what he's doing and gets more balance. So having her toss her head and fight against you and be weak isn't really going to help you ride good. It's just going to be a fight between her and him trying to figure it out, and it's not going to be fun, and he's not going to want to do it. So for the sake of her building muscle and a beginner having to figure her out, it's also good to teach her she doesn't need to panic in every situation. The last thing I really have to say about it is everybody rides different, and we don't know what the future holds, and Avalon might be sold in the future. She might stay with me forever. We don't know what's going to happen in lives. Every day changes. So if I ever sold her and I never touched her mouth and somebody got on her and was always using their hands to stop, it might make her a little bit overreactive, and I just want her trained so that, well, and Kamani, I want them trained so that anybody can get on my horses and go have fun. Well, people that I trust, and they're gonna be safe. If they're a beginner and they're a little bit more comfortable using the reins, not yanking and pulling the crap out of them, but using the reins, I want to know that I can put them out on a trail or in an arena, and that if they are safer in their head about using the reins than they are using their body, I want to know that nothing's gonna happen. So I don't know. There's people that believe you should never ever ever touch the reins. Horses should only go off body, and I think yes, that is the end goal. Now I haven't been consistent enough with my two because of health reasons to keep that. But when I do start riding after my surgery here in a few days, when I'm all healed up and start riding again, we're gonna go back and work on those foundational things. And eventually, yeah, I'd love to where I can get on and I don't need to use my reins, or my friends or my boyfriend can get on and never need to touch the reins. But I also think it's a safety measure that you should be able to use your reins and not have a horse fight you, throw their head, and just have that foundation. So I hope this made sense. It's making sense in my head, but I'm not the best at explaining. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, comment down below. Let's keep the conversation nice, and we can have a discussion down in the comments if y'all want to. But let's just be polite, and hope you guys enjoyed this.